So Blessman welcome on one of the all-time great players at UMass City. He's now heading out to Rice to finish up his final year of extra eligibility. Call Pierre. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, you already got your name in the portal. You're out of it. We know this list is constantly growing. It's hectic right now, but you're out of it now. You found your home for your final year of college. How you feeling right now?
I feel good. It definitely feels good to be out of it.
Mhm.
It was definitely a hectic process, but it feels good to have a home knowing and know where I'm going to be next year.
We'll touch up on this in a little bit, but what were the differences between your first one? I know the first one obviously was not as much as you probably wanted. Obviously, your first one coming out from high school to college. This one, you had a lot of colleges reaching out to you. What are the differences between your two past recruiting processes?
I joke sometimes with some of my teammates that this is like my first recruiting process.
Mhm.
Coming out of high school, I didn't really have a whole ton of interest.
Yeah.
It picked up late, so it was pretty quick and it started off late. But this one, I think having been through college basketball, I knew what I was looking for, and I had a lot more interest this time around.
We're gonna get into your whole career right now because I know Rice fans want to get to know you a little bit better. So let's head back though. You're obviously from Boston, Massachusetts. You were able to stay home for college, but let's kind of go through that. Like, what was it like growing up out there?
It was nice. Love the city of Boston, of course. I'm actually from Randolph, Mass. I live right outside of Boston, maybe like 15 minutes outside, but
Hmm.
um, went to school in Boston, went to Boston College High School. That was a great experience there. That's where I met Travis. We were teammates in the backcourt and I had a lot of fun together. It was a lot of fun growing up in Massachusetts.
Walk us through that move because you have an incredible career, go down as one, if not the best player in the program history out there. But what in that decision, like, why did you choose the Boston College where you want to attend for high school?
Um, I mean, of course, the school has a great reputation.
Hmm.
You go there, have a get a great education, develop into a great man. So that's definitely part of it. And also, I think it was the best basketball move for me. Also, they they've had historical success in the MIAA, so I just wanted to make a move outside of my town.
You go out there and you look at all the stuff you achieved throughout your career, the two-time All-Star selection, you end up being an MVP, you win your conference title, you get 1,000 career points. You look at all the stuff you achieved in your high school career. Was that your expectations? Do you think you could do that heading in there as a freshman?
Um, Honestly, I think I didn't even necessarily have many expectations going in there
Mhm.
as a freshman. I think it was just uh, try to get as good as I can, um, make varsity team as early as I can, and just we'll see what how it shakes out at the end.
Now we know that as you said, your recruiting process was a little rocky. You didn't really have much until the very end as it picked up, but you still look at yourself now today. You end up going to UMass, obviously had a great career there. You get to stay at Rice now for another year. But when did you start seeing this could be an opportunity for you? Like when did you see as yourself and start believing that okay, I can become a Division I player and really become a great Division I player?
I think maybe my junior year I started to believe it. I think my junior season I had a breakout year, and I felt like I had a shot to make it. And I definitely put in the work too. So I think that definitely helped me out as well. And I think for sure after my senior year, having played on the circuit and in the MIA, I played against a bunch of guys who garnered more recognition than me or had um, scholarship offers. So I think playing against them and kind of measuring myself against them helped me out a lot.
You look at all the guys you were able to go up against. 'Cause that's an area that's pretty heavily recruited. There are a lot of guys that come out of Massachusetts area. But what were some of the guys that you remember going up against that you really enjoyed playing and you really kind of formed in a way a rivalry just in terms of you really enjoyed going up against a single guy?
Ooh, one single guy. I don't know if I could say there was one. I mean, there was just I went like up against a lot of guys. I remember playing against Ethan Wright, Thomas Shaughnessy,
Mhm.
and a bunch of other guys on the AAU circuit. So I think I really did enjoy playing against all those guys. And it was just always good competition. We always love to compete.
As you mentioned earlier, there is that one guy that I think you really enjoyed having practice against and also playing alongside. And that's Travis, who you're going to be teaming up with now again at Rice. But take us through your guys' bond. Like, how did that first start?
Oh man, Travis is my guy. I've actually known Travis since I was in maybe eighth grade or something, seventh or eighth grade,
Mhm.
playing for travel team. He was obviously a year below me, but he was always good. Always could shoot the ball, so I knew him like that. And I think going to BC High, I got to know him a little bit better. We of course played together on the varsity team, and I think there was a lot of time spent together in the summers, just getting up shots, and then as well on the AAU circuit. So I think through that, having spent so much time together, we just became brothers essentially.
This has 40 a little bit, but we look at this past recruiting process you just went through. How much of an impact or role did Travis have on getting you to come out to Rice?
He definitely had a decent amount.
Mhm.
I've been in touch with him, of course, through this recruiting process, asking him questions, and then telling me what the program is like and whatnot. So I think he played a role.
Absolutely. We look at those practices when you're going up against a guy, because that's probably one of the bigger things. Obviously, games are great, but you practice a lot more than you play games. So what are those practices like with Travis, day in, day out, going up against them and just going at one-on-one, even on a 5-on-5 setting? We know you probably too were matching up one-on-one. What are those matchups like?
And it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of competitive matchups, and I think that in practice we were usually on the same team, but I think it was those like summertime in the gym playing one on ones, playing king of the court.
Mhm.
Those were like super fun matchups. Thinking back on it, very competitive, and we definitely pushed each other a lot.
If you guys play one-on-one today, who's going to win best out of 7 series?
I gotta say me, of course.
How many wins is he going to get, if any?
If he's gonna I mean, I'll give him his respect. It might go to 7.
Hmm. Without a doubt. When you look at the rest of your career, though, as I said in high school, you achieve all these things, but as you said, your junior year really was your breakout year. What kind of led to that? Was it extra work you put in, or what really led to you breaking out?
I'd say it was extra work. I think my sophomore year was my first year on varsity, and I think the year was tough. It was definitely an adjustment, the speed of the game, the physicality, and I think I wanted to get off on a better foot my junior year. So that whole summer I spent running, getting extra shots outside if I had to. Then I got into the weight room with my guy, Mr. Roldan. So we started working on my physicality, and I
Mhm.
think that really led to it.
The crazy thing, as you said, is you didn't start off on varsity right away. You worked your way up into that and became the guy who you are today. But a lot of people are not going to think about that because a lot of people think, oh, you're a Division I player, especially a starter, especially a guy that achieved all you did at UMass and now at Rice you're going to do. You probably were on varsity from day one, starter, the go-to guy from your day one to day, the final day of high school. Not the case for a lot of guys, though, not all of them at least. How was that adjusting to that, and how was it kind of becoming what you become now, even realizing you start off on JV?
I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Hmm.
I think it definitely gave me a chip on my shoulder. I think my freshman year I had to play on one of the freshman teams,
Hmm.
and I mean, it was fun. I mean, I'm not gonna take that experience for granted at all. It was a lot of fun. I love my teammates, and I think uh, it gave me hunger to want to work and try to make it up to varsity. So
Hmm.
I definitely would not have it any other way.
So you look at your senior year, then you have 2017 comes up and you end up winning the Catholic title. You win obviously MVP that year as well. What was that year like?
That was one of my, I think, most fun basketball years to date.
Mhm.
I love my teammates, love practicing, love the games, love the downtime. Even to the day, we used to have Sunday practice and go to IHOP after that. That was just a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And then on the court, everybody was together, everybody was locked in. Um, and to be able to win the Catholic Conference with those guys, it was super fun.
You look back at all your high school career. Is there one specific game that kind of stands out to you, or maybe your favorite game of your career?
In high school,
Mhm.
uh, there might be a couple. There was a game against, I think it was Mansfield at home. My senior year, that was a lot of fun. And then my junior year, we played Needham at their place. And that was a lot of fun. And then Braintree, my senior year, that was a huge rivalry. They had their entire school there. Our school, it was a lot of fun.
You think with that recruiting process, and here's the crazy story we talk about UMass. They have a lot of coaching changes that happen in a short span. You weren't committed to the final guy that ended up building your whole bond with Coach McCall is out there, but they start off obviously with Coach Kellogg. They move on by hire Coach Kelsey, and he then decides to not take the job like 30 minutes before he's supposed to do his press conference. Then Coach McCall comes in, offers you right before the season all gets going. What
Mhm.
was that process like? Because you were originally, I think, believing to go to prep school originally.
Yeah.
What was that whole process like?
I mean, it was a whirlwind process. I was originally committed to go to prep school, so that was the path I was going to take. I didn't necessarily want to go to prep school, but
Hmm.
It was just a necessary step along the way. But UMass came in, Coach McCall came in, took my visit. I liked the staff. I liked the school. I mean, it was close to home. I'm pretty familiar with the school. And I thought I might as well go into UMass.
That's gotta be hard because we just talk about how great of a high school career you had. You won all this stuff in a place that is low with talent. But why do you think when you look back at it, like, why do you think you weren't as heavily recruited or heavily ranked? Like, why wasn't that all there for you?
I'm not really necessarily sure.
Mhm.
I, I really to the day I'm not really sure.
And this is the common story. We do hear this with a lot of guys out there, but we know there's even be more guys, especially with this whole COVID stuff going on. It's gonna make it high school is a lot harder to get into college, get offers. So what's your advice to them? How do you keep your head up? How do you keep working even when people aren't really seeing you? It's not really going the way you want.
I'd say just believe in yourself. Be confident in yourself. Continue to put the work in, and everything is going to fall the way it's supposed to fall.
So you choose UMass, and that's a pretty good score right off the bat. I mean, that's not like a super low major. That's a pretty good mid-major in the A10. What was your reaction when you first got that offer? Like, what was going through your mind?
I was excited. I, I was just excited. Yeah, I'd say that.
And obviously, you built a great relationship with Coach McCall over your 4-year career there. How have you really seen that like, grow from the point when he first offered you that first phone call all the way now to your senior year and you walk away graduated?
I mean, Coach McCall is a great guy. First and foremost, he's a great guy. And I think being together through all the ups and downs and whatnot, we definitely have been able to grow a bond. And I'm very appreciative of him for giving me the opportunity for sure. Um, yeah.
We know obviously it's going to be a rebuild process. When you go through the whole coaching change, a lot of stuff happens, especially as last second as that one was. So your first year at 13-20, but you do get to pretty much start the entire year, 22 of 33 games. How
Mhm.
are you able to come in as a freshman so composed and really dominate as a freshman? 12 points, 2 runs, 1 assist, 1 steal per game. How are you able to come in that prepared for college?
Um, I I definitely look back to the work I put in, the preparation. I'd say that helped me a lot. Um, and then my teammates and coaches, they put a lot of confidence in me. I was basically thrown into the fire, so I just had to figure it out.
When you come in, and especially as a freshman, that's challenging, but you're playing with a whole bunch of new guys coming in because a lot of the team transferred. And even throughout this final point, you end up playing with 38 different teammates throughout your career there, nearly 30 different starting lineups you played with. What was it like dealing with that much change throughout your career there?
It was definitely difficult. There were a lot of introductions, but I think I just tried to take it in stride as best as I could, bond and gel with whatever teammates I had with me,
Mhm.
and just try to keep pushing forward.
From your sophomore year up to this final season, you were the only guy remaining still. A lot of guys are constantly moving, as you said, but why did you want to stay? Like, what was the reason that you decided to be that guy that stayed as opposed to what everyone else was doing?
I think I just wanted to be loyal,
Mhm.
just see it through. I just wanted to stay in one place. I really didn't have much of a crazy like reason to jump into the transfer portal, and I just wanted to stick it out, take it like see where we could go.
Let's go a little bit deeper into that freshman year. As I said, you have a great year, but this one game in particular that you really set yourself up for and really show a glimpse into how special you can be. 25 points against LaSalle, January 10th. What was that night like for you?
It was that was definitely a fun game. I think everything just came together that game. I was feeling it. My teammates were confident in me. My coaches were confident in me. And it just that night went my way. Shots were falling my way.
Were your expectations to have this great of a career go down 18th all-time leading scorer in UMass history, second three-point made, would have had probably even higher than that if obviously the season wasn't as messed up with the whole COVID stuff. But would you have seen yourself having this great of a season, this great of a career at UMass when you first walked in there?
I think I'm definitely confident in myself. So I'm not gonna necessarily just say yes, but I
Mhm.
think I'm confident in the preparation that I put in, and the confidence that my coaching staff has in me. So I think the environment was conducive for me to be able to have a great career.
There was a senior tribute put together for you a little bit ago, talking about your entire career. A bunch of teammates spoke on that. And a lot of them discussed you obviously had to kind of learn a leadership role, being the only guy that stays for that long. You really became a leader early on. That really started your sophomore year, especially for yourself. How were you able to become so mature and become really the leader of a team that early on?
I think it's just I think I try to lead by example. Day in, day out, be consistent in what I do. Whether it's get shots up, take care of my body, eat, go to class. Day in, day out, I want to check all those boxes. And I think as the years went by and my teammates got younger, I just stuck to that and just tried to give the blueprint.
Having 30 different introductions to guys, did that ever get tiring? And at some point, were you even just like, are you even going to stay? Or like, what was your thoughts by the time you got to number 35, 36, 37? Like, what was that like introducing that many guys?
It's definitely difficult.
Mhm.
It makes it difficult to really, really like be able to connect and bond with your teammates. I don't think I've played with any one person for more than like 2 years or something. I think something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I just tried to do the best that I could in those situations.
And that had to especially grow you and Coach McCall's bond too, because you two are the only guys really staying. He's the only guy I think you stayed for 4 years with. How was that? Like, how are you guys kind of talking through that all, seeing this guy's gone, this guy's gone. He was a star player. He was the second best player, third best player. He's gone. Like, how did that grow your bond, kind of just knowing that you guys were always there with each other?
It did. It definitely played a part. I'd be in his office, we talk, and just try to take it in stride, try to figure it out, try to push forward um, for the sake of the program.
What would you say is the funniest moment? If you think about Coach McCall, like, what's the funniest moment that comes to mind right off the top of your head?
Uh, Funniest moment about Coach McCall. I mean, in the moment, it wasn't necessarily funny, but like we played George Mason at George Mason, and we had a tough, tough loss, and he was just beside himself. I think he might have punched a wall. It was crazy, but I think looking back at that, that was a funny moment.
So you then have your junior season. This really was a guy that comes in, then you finally get a guy that you know staying 2 years with, and he's a guy that I think will be a future pro, Tre Mitchell. What was that addition like? He comes in not really highly recruited either, but he comes in there and becomes the phenom he's become now. How special was it though when you first saw him that first day of practice? What were your thoughts on him?
Definitely knew he was good, and he would surprise people for sure. We had a pickup run, and he played really well, and the talent was definitely there. Um, and it was definitely fun playing with him for the last 2 years. It's definitely fun seeing him go out there and dominate and kill. Yeah.
What was coach expecting in him? Did he was he kind of hyping him up? Did he think he was going to be that as good as he is now, or was he even shocked by how good Trey became?
I think Coach had an idea of how good he could become.
Mm.
Definitely tried to instill confidence in him.
At what point would you say you two clicked, or did that ever happen? Like, when did you start feeling that okay, we got that bond now, we're able to kind of rock and roll together? Like, when did that kind of click between you two?
Um, Man, I'd say probably late last season to early this season. It was just I knew how he wanted to play, where he wanted to get the ball. He knew where I wanted to get the ball, and we just definitely coexisted on the court very well together.
I don't know exactly where he's going to go. He could be announcing at any point now. We know how crazy the portal is, but for whatever program does land Trey, what are they going to be getting in him?
Oh man, they're gonna be a kid. They're gonna get a kid who's tremendous on and off the court. He definitely works hard day in and day out. He gets it done in the classroom. We saw he was all academic.
Mhm.
They're definitely going to get a great kid in terms of um, play on the court as well as in the culture. Can't go wrong.
There also was another game that happened for you. December 11th comes around. You end up having a program record 8 threes against Yale. What went into you that night?
I was just I, I was just in the zone. Everything I threw, it felt like it was going to go in.
Your guy has hit a lot of threes in your career. You're a great 3-point shooter, but what was different about that night? Did you prepare any differently, or what really led to that game?
I don't even know. I think I was just I don't know. I was especially focused. I couldn't even tell you. I don't know.
There is one team though that overall throughout your career you did produce at a higher level than just about any other team against. That's Rhode Island. You always seem to have a lot of big time games against them. What got into you against them? Like what was it against you in Rhode Island?
I don't know. Like I think they're a great team.
Hmm.
Perennially in the A10, they're always at the top of the league. They're a tough team. It's always a rock fight essentially. It's gonna be physical. So I think you have no choice but to raise your level of play against a team like that.
They have a guy that also just transferred to Maryland now, and he became a dominant point guard, and we know how good he was. He just was a guy that laid it all on the court, all points, and that's Fats Russell. What was it
Mhm.
like matching up against him?
It was always fun, always fun. We would talk on the court. It was always cool, competitive, definitely competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun to see him to compete against him for sure. He's a great player. Um, so I think that was definitely one of my favorite players to play against in the A10.
Now, personally, for myself, I think we talked about this two mid-major schools that I think just are as good as high major conferences, and that's obviously you guys' conference, the A10. I think Mountain West is special as well, but you look at all the guys you play against. We saw the Obi Toppin era, Bones is special. The list goes on. How special was it playing in the A10?
The A10 is a very competitive league.
Hmm.
I played against a whole lot of pros in my time, and I think night in night out you have to be on your p's and q's, or else you can get exposed.
Who are some of your favorite guys that you really enjoyed going up against throughout your career there?
I like playing against Fats Russell, Javon Green from George Mason. Um, I think mm, Jacob Gilliard. That was
Mm-hmm.
always a good matchup. Yeah, I'd say those are a couple of guys for sure that were fun to play against.
Now, you never probably had to guard him too often in these matchups. You probably got switched on to maybe a couple of times through your career
Mm.
there, but there was a top five for pick a couple of weeks ago, or last year, and Obi Toppin from Dane. He was a different breed. He obviously was built much different than typical college guys are, especially at that four position. What was like matching up against him, and just overall, how did you guys game plan for a guy like that?
He's an incredible talent, really athletically gifted, to say the least. But I think you can't try to stick one guy on a guy like that and just hope for the best. It has to be a team effort. He has to see a lot of bodies. You have to play physical and finish possessions after one shot.
After last season came to a close, then we know COVID set in, the pandemic's all happening, and you're pretty much stuck at home trying to get in a gym. What are the main things you really want to improve on, work on throughout that COVID pandemic?
I wanted to get stronger,
Mhm.
and just overall get to the basket at a better rate. I think that's really what I focused on.
This year wasn't quite part of the dream year for you guys. You didn't get that many games in this. You only played all 15 games in total for the team. Lots have gotten in the way, but we kind of expected that with the pandemic and all. But you overall had a career year. Just look at average numbers and all for yourself: 13, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, stealing a block per game. What were your thoughts on this past year?
This past year was a very interesting year to say the least. There were stoppages. It was wild. But I'd say I'm definitely proud of our team for making it through, sticking it together. And we had a pretty decent year.
Everyone seems to have a lot of COVID stories between things that happened in the morning during the testing, for different stuff, crazy stuff that happened throughout the year. What would you say is some of the first memories, or maybe your favorite memory or funniest moment from this past year dealing with the whole pandemic?
Oh man. Funniest memory was at the A10 tournament. The tests were like they really like go far up your nose. And like it was just funny, like you just see guys go in and when they're coming back, they're all just like tearing up and it was funny.
Who would you say was the funniest guy in the locker room this year?
Let me see. Uh Funniest guy in the locker room. That's tough. Man, that's actually tough. I'd say mm, yeah, probably Mark. Mark Gasparini, that dude's a fool.
Would he be the funniest guy throughout your entire career there, or is there another top guy that you say is the funniest over your entire UMass career?
Oh man, my UMass creator, there've been a lot of funny dudes. Keon Clairzo was a clown. CJ Anderson, Pip, he was funny. Yeah, there's a lot of funny dudes. Jalen Franklin.
And overall, now we saw this entire year now for you guys. You had the pandemic, waking up early at 7 a.m. I believe for a lot of guys get your COVID test each day. This is a lot different because you just spent 3 years, typical year, living as a college athlete. Then you have this whole year. How'd you adjust to that as a player?
um, it was definitely an adjustment. You just couldn't really move as free as you could in a typical year.
Mhm.
There's always testing twice a week, so you have to be on time for testing. Um, there's not necessarily having to walk to class, which was nice. But I think overall it was a lot of added stress
Mhm.
to maneuver a season.
I mentioned some of the big things you achieved throughout your career. You finished second all-time three-point made, 18th all-time in scoring. I think those numbers all could have been higher, especially every stat would have been higher, obviously, because you could have had roughly 10 or so more games added on to this year. But
Mhm.
overall, like, what's your thoughts on your career? You said you achieved everything you wanted to. Were you successful? Would you want to accomplish more? Like, what was overall your thoughts on your UMass career?
I mean, I think I'm proud of my UMass career. I think if I wanted to accomplish anything else, it's probably just make the tournament. Of course, I think that's
Mhm.
every college basketball player's dream.
The year concludes, and as we know, you put in the portal, as we talked about, you go to Rice. What other schools were in the mix, though? Like, what other schools would you say was maybe your second option, third option? Who else were you heavily considering that ultimately came up just short of Rice?
I mean, I heard from a lot of schools. Rice was, of course, up there. Georgia, Loyola Chicago, um, Cal, Iowa. There's a bunch of schools. But I think Rice was just going to be the best option for me.
That's unique because of some of the schools you just mentioned, obviously, are high majors or super high majors on really high right now in terms of Loyola Chicago, some of those schools. But what really led you to Rice? Like, what separated Rice from everyone else?
I think Rice was going to be a place that I could go and have the most fun.
Mhm.
I know Rice has a good culture. Talking from Travis, uh, Rice is on the. We'll have a chance to win next year and make it to the dance, and I really believe in what Coach Pierre has going on over there.
Now you're from Massachusetts. You played college out there. You're making the move now to Houston, and there's gonna be quite a bit different weather. Obviously, we know they just had that crazy snowstorm thing that probably won't ever happen again. But for the most part, they're a lot less cold as Massachusetts is. It's a much different place to live in. How do you plan on adjusting to the new lifestyle?
I'm excited.
Hmm.
I've heard nothing but great things about the city of Houston, and I don't think adjusting is going to be too wild, but I'm excited.
When you look at this core group, and they were a team that I thought was had a high chance of making the tournament this year. They had some injuries that came up mid-season, obviously pushed away and made them lose some games in the end there. But Quincy, I think, is legit. He's going to be coming back as star player. We already talked about Travis and your guys' duo. Max obviously looks legit. Chris is a big time player. Like, and you add yourself now. You're a guy that can play defense. You can knock down the three ball. But how do you kind of fit in that main core? Like, what are you going to bring to Rice this upcoming year?
I can bring leadership. I can do those things that you mentioned. I can play defense. I can shoot. I can score. Um, so I think for me, it's a matter of finding where I fit within their team dynamic because they have a good team dynamic as it is,
Mhm.
um, and just finding my place.
When you look at the expectations for this year, you guys head in there as a team that has a very good chance of making the tournament, winning conference. You guys got to achieve all this really that you just want. How
Hmm.
special can this team be? I mentioned this core group, but how special can you guys be this year?
I think Rice can be. I think we can be as special as we want to be. I know the coaching staff, Coach Para, and all the rest of the assistant coaches are going to push us.
Hmm.
I'm excited, and I'm excited for that. I think everybody's focused and everybody wants to make it to the tournament. So I think we can be pretty special.
Now, coach does run a lot of guards typically out there, but how does it plan to fit you guys in? Because there's four guards now that can all play at a high level, all can score easily double digits. How do you plan to kind of work you guys out? When you guys possibly come off the bench? Is it going to be four out? Like, how's he kind of plan to utilize all you guys?
He definitely wants to play a lot of guards and spread the floor and just attack.
Talk about Coach Pierre a little bit more. He's a great coach. Obviously, we see what he's achieved already as a career at Rice. But what's like his personal level? What's just like talking to him on the day-to-day life?
Coach Para is a great guy. I mean, just talking to him, easy to talk to, very personable person. Um, I think he's just a great guy in general.
And when you see the parents, they haven't made the tournament since 1970, haven't made the NIT since 2005. If this is ultimately set up for you guys have the year that you guys easily can do. What would it be like kind of achieving all these things and having your name on really a record price team?
Man, it'd be amazing to be able to go in there, do something special with a great group of guys, and just rewrite history.
When you did tell Travis that you're going to be coming out there and joining him, what was his reaction?
He was excited.
No doubt, man. Well, a few things before I let you go, one of which is kind of discussing some of the stuff you have in your social media. One is why not me? Discuss what that means to you.
Oh wow, that's funny. um, I mean, why not me is just like why not me? Why can't I do anything? Why can't I do something special, something crazy that nobody thinks might be possible? I think it's just generally it is what it means. Why not?
Now, you also have on Twitter your name is Horse. What does that mean? Kind of take us through how it started.
That goes back to high school.
Hmm.
Um, like back then, the lingo like a person who's a horse is just somebody who's good at something, anything. It might be anything. And I guess that's just that that was just taken with and ran with it from high school, and it's just I haven't changed it since then.
My last thing you also have pinned is chasing greatness is a lonely endeavor. What does that mean to you?
Um, I think if you want to do something big, you want to do something great. There's gonna come a point where maybe people don't want to go to the lengths that you want to go to, or maybe doubt. So eventually, it's gonna you might be running the race by yourself or with not as many people as you would like, but you got to stick true to yourself. Remember your goal and just keep pushing.
Absolutely, man. Well, one thing I was like wrapping up discussing too is building a legacy for yourself. And that's something that all guys ultimately want to do for themselves. So when you are done playing this basketball career and you're done with this, you set it aside someday in the future. What do you ultimately want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
Um, I just want to be remembered as a guy who works hard, who is ultimately a good basketball player,
Mhm.
and who I just want to be remembered as somebody who really understands the game.
So are you looking at possibly playing professional basketball after this? Obviously, NBA probably the main goal if that's your dream or playing overseas, but what's kind of your main goal? What do you want to achieve in life after this college career?
I think after I finish playing college basketball, I want to play basketball for as long as I can,
Hmm.
and then hopefully stay close to the game after that.
So you want to be like more of a coach aspect, a team doctor,
Yeah,
possibly a GM kind of stuff? Like what are you looking at that
yeah,
aspect?
yeah. Something along probably just coaching or in the front office world, just anything that I can stay close to the game.
That's awesome. Well, final thing for you, give Rice fans your three biggest goals you have set for your one season out here.
Um, for me, I want to have fun. I want to win. Um, I just want to give the Rice fans something to be proud about.
Without a doubt, man. Well, appreciate you taking time to come on today and congrats on that commitment. And I look forward to seeing you guys out next week, man.
All right, thank you.
Coach, also come on, man. God bless.